panel discussion on value generation through responsible Gen AI, operational efficiency via AI Ops, and there we'll cover one specific aspect, which is people first, security always, crafting cyber resilient cultures in the AI era. Can I request Dr. Indranil Mitro, partner PwC Limited, Mr. Suraj Kadam, General Manager, Technical Altem Technologies Private Limited, and Mr. Praveen Pal Singh, PSM Consultant, ThreatCorp, to come up on the stage once the setup is ready. I have an announcement to make to all of you here. Okay, so couple of announcements. We have another session to be followed after this. The session will be taken by Mr. Ronodeep Moitro, who is a former Bengal cricketer and certified strength and conditioning specialist. This session will start around 6:30 p.m. in the other hall, Sapphire, which will be followed by networking cocktails and reception. So I request all our valued guests and delegates to stay back, enjoy the session after this, and be part of the networking evening. This session will be on Beyond the Boardroom, Discipline, Hygiene and Stress Management for a fulfilling post-corporate life. I believe this is some topic, this is one topic which resonates with each and every one of us. So it will be a very interesting session, and I look forward to having all of you there. And the other announcement that I have to make is a bit of a bad news. We are just having an information coming in from the Minister in Charge's office that he's stuck in a cabinet meeting at Vidhan Sabha, so he cannot make it to this event today. He has passed on his best wishes to this event and conveyed his sincerest regret for not being able to join here today. Over to you, Dr. Mitra.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Bengal Chamber, for inviting me and the other panelists here. I can see some of the people leaving because after the session with Arindoda and Amit and everybody else, it was very, very energizing. So I think there's a need for some coffee. But this session is very interesting, it's very emerging, I must say. And I have some very senior executives here, Parthoda here, Sanjay sir here. And thankfully, I'm not sitting across them because then the questions would have been much more difficult. But responsible AI in this space is becoming very important. And now we have agentic AI, generative AI, people using Gemini everywhere. I mean, I was doing that myself. I'm sure a lot of you do. So we have two great exponents today. And where is Anindo and Shambit? But both the folks here are not from Kolkata, and they are seriously thinking about doing something here. So we have Suraj on my right and Praveen on my left, and they will introduce a little bit about themselves, but I think what Suraj and Praveen are doing are at the forefront of technology, and in that technology space, AI obviously is very, very important for the work that they are doing, and how they are using the AI framework of responsibility, ethical AI and trusted AI. We will talk about social engineering, which can be prevented by some of these frameworks, and where do we go from there? How do we skill our own people? How they inherently take the help of these frameworks to start their AI journey will be very, very important. So we will not take much time, so we'll just jump into the question. So my first question is to Suraj. Suraj, we have discussed earlier that you work in a space which is very, very software heavy, and you do a lot of integration for a lot of very, very important clients. You deal with a lot of critical data. You build your own platforms across life sciences to, I mean, I don't know if you do for Dreamliner, but I think most Dassault system that your integrator works across the aviation sector. So what is your thought about embedding AI? How do you want to skill your people? And what do you see if responsible AI kind of framework is not there? What are the threats that you perceive?
Yeah. So very thankful to Bengal Chamber of Commerce for allowing to express ourselves. So we being from the tech industry, I am from Altem Technologies representing Dassault Systems over here. And in case of implementing our solutions, we are propagators of a product called 3D Experience. So 3D Experience allows to integrate all your products on a single platform, and with that proper traceability, collaboration and innovation is possible. So, and that from the product ideation to designing till manufacturing and for the end of life events. All these milestones in a product development, whether it is in transportation and mobility, aerospace and defense, or electronic consumer goods development, all these verticals can use this platform and then enhance the product development process. So how do we now integrate AI onto this? So what happens is, in most of the companies which, like for example, startups which adopt some software applications to develop their products, they use their products in silos. So while they use the products in silos, it is very difficult to capture traceability, that is, who has done what, why and when. So to do that, we have developed a platform where these data and data transfers between the users and the stakeholders can be captured on a common platform, and hence we can have product without disturbing the innovation. We can have proper authentication process. So when you say how do we track the cyber security, whether there is some threats coming into the system, so we work on the 3 A's, that is authentication, awareness and alerting. So authentication means we have what we call it risk-based multi-factor authentication, wherein we allow multiple layers of authentication so that there is no mistake from a single person while log in, log out, or any other data transfer happens between the data creators, approvers and the final stakeholders of the data, that is the customers.
Thank you, Suraj. So, Praveen, I'll come to you. I mean, I hope you have enjoyed the hospitality of Calcutta till now, but I'll start by the name of your company, ThreatCorp, very interesting name. So, starting from there, why you called it ThreatCorp and how are you using AI to do away with the social engineering? How do you prevent attacks? How are you even skilling your people to understand the emerging threats? I think the whole gamut of cybersecurity, if you can throw some light on that with some real life examples.
Definitely. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here and speak in front of all these experienced people. Hello. So at ThreatCorp, we focus on one of the oldest problem of cybersecurity, yet the biggest one still today, that is people. So we help organizations secure one of the most unpredictable asset, that is human. Since if anyone wants to Google, they can Google right now. 80 to 90% of the cyber attacks still happens because of the human error. Very recently, even I think last month only, one of the biggest global apparel company has a cyber attack, which was initiated through social engineering itself. And that attack also included actually AI itself, where one of the senior executive was, mimicked in a voice call, and through which the data sharing happened, and after that, actually the whole attack happened. Right. So what we are trying to do at ThreatCorp is we are trying to solve the problem of people, where we have developed the framework of assess, aware, protect, and empower, through which we are trying to solve this problem. So it's very necessary how we use AI. As of now, how we're using AI is there are multiple modules in which we are using the AI. We are using deepfake technologies to simulate attack and understanding the behavior, the user pattern, and instantly awareing them about what exactly they are doing wrong. And actually also at the same time protecting the domain and helping to automate the incident response when it comes to social engineering.
Thank you. So, I mean, we had a session before from M-Assist, and there was this bot that the gentleman, the co-founder was speaking to. So do you think all those things can also be injectable from the cybersecurity aspect? Somebody can just call an order and then swindle the company?
So in that session, actually, the AI was being used to basically help enable the business. But the same thing can also be used by threat actors. They can mimic anyone's voice. It's very easy to do so by multiple platforms that are publicly available right now, and that is actually happening. The deepfake attacks are, the biggest one that is emerging right now. So definitely, these kind of techniques can be misused by the people if they are really in wrong hands. But at the same time, these kind of technique can also help us prevent the same kind of attack.
Thank you. Because even today morning there was a news article, I'm not sure how many you've seen, two professors, husband and wife, lost their life savings to a digital arrest scam. I mean, hopefully your company is working in something around that. Suraj, I'll come back to you. So, because you work across the spectrum of business, what are the key challenges that you have faced when you start to on a journey of AI in certain companies, even in your own platforms? How do you help customers navigate through them? And what are the frameworks are you building around it?
Yeah, so for several of our clients for whom we provide different software applications, globally it is recognized that it is difficult to find a skilled personnel who are already trained in AI. Yeah, that is true that skilled personnel are difficult to come by, but in the in the present world where people are already aware about how AI is, apart from knowing those applications, it is more important to know how AI works. So more than personally, we believe that more than finding the skilled personnel, it is required that we find people who have certain knack, they are tech savvy, and scalable, that is, they have an intent of continuous learning. So within our organizations, what we have done is, for those who are currently employed, we have continuous recursive trainings, and in these trainings, we have gamified the evaluation processes. So that is easier way of teaching, and for those leaders who are not tech savvy or they are from the older generations, what we have done is, we have an program where we continuously have an awareness program where we continuously simulate the threats that are expected, and out of those threats we find out those people who will require some more training or basic training for them to be aware. For every data that is transferred between different applications, we also have alerts. Like, because we work with some defense organizations, and recently we found one threat where a defense project was being carried out at an academic institute. Okay, it was a technology transfer where a project was being replicated at an academic institute. And there we saw that because we were generating some usage reports, we saw that certain data was being pinged at some hours where there were not normal personnel being used. So because we were trying to use some large language model applications which are sourcing data from different units and visualize that data, when the visualization of data was being done by those language models, that time we came to know that certain devices which were used in routing that data and pulling licenses over the internet, we saw that some pings are happening at hours where personnel are not working. So with that, we could at least trace that there is some intrusion that is happening, and then the security agencies took over to further investigate that because it was a defense issue. But what we see is whether those generative AIs are developed in-house or they are being procured, we have to know how they work intrinsically. Next, one more challenge that we have found is the bias that is intrinsic within the AI models. Because of those data that is being used to train that large language model, there are some interesting biases. So what we do is we advise those language models or the AI models to be trained on wide diversified data. So if it is a 1D analysis that is being done, then it is 1.5 times in x minus x direction. Or if it is a 3D analysis being done, then 1.5 direction multiplied by 5 multiplied by 6. That many amount of data has to be used by the language models so that recursively we have a more wider or more diversified data that is being used to train the AI model.
That's a lot of training that you are doing, and I'm sure you're following a lot of these steps. So, Praveen, I'll come back to you, and you guys are also building a lot of these kind of platforms in the cyber area. So, from a compliance-based training, are you going more towards the predictive part and the proactive training that you're going to do? Are you building simulation models? How are you going ahead in this very resilient towards a resilient cybersecurity future?
So we at ThreatCorp has developed this framework, we call it PSM, People Security Management, where we have this framework called AAPE model, Assess, Aware, Protect, and Empower. So we're using different kind of AI modules in all these different framework steps that we have. So in assessment part, what we usually do is we understand the user behavior, try to understand what are the possible communication mediums that a hacker can use to, attack the organization and the individuals. So we use AI to mimic same attacks. Let's say, if possible, I'll be able to mimic your voice through AI and send a voice call to your subordinates or some of your teammates. Then actually I try to understand who all are responding to them, how much they're responding, or what are the key points where they're responding. Based on this, we create a vulnerability profile of the users. And since we have those detailed profile of the users, we are able to provide them not the generic enough training, but very specific and role-based training to all these people. And that's where also we're using AI. I think as of today, the simplest problem that AI is solving is content generation. I'm sure a lot of presentations happen today. A lot of people have used AI while, generating that content. We are actually at the ThreatCorp, we are also doing the same, but we are doing it precisely to understand the user behavior and providing them instant training on that specific use case that is there in front of us. Then we have a solution, the third module that comes to the protection part, where we're using the DMARC solution to help organization understand who all is utilizing their domain correctly or incorrectly and help them secure with the help of correct configuration. Then comes the last part, that is the empowerment, where we basically automate the process. Since we have already assessed the user behavior, aware them, then we give them kind of an SOS button so that they can immediately report any kind of incident that is happening. Let's say any kind of suspicious email that is actually coming into the inbox, user should be able to immediately report it to the IT or security team. And with the help of AI, we are able to prevent that email to being spread out within the rest of the organization, and you can actually delete for all of the people, even one single user reports that. And based on these behavior patterns, we provide a scoring to every individual user. So we have bad behavior employees, we have good behavior employees, and we are trying to bridge a gap between those so that, so for social engineering, the obvious solution that comes into the mind is awareness. But to make the awareness continuous, you have to create a culture so that it becomes the part of your subconscious mind, so you're always vigilant and aware. So when you you bridge a gap and you automate the process of converting those bad behavior employees in terms of cybersecurity to the good behavior employees, it really is the job of the security team. So that's what we're trying to do at ThreatCorp.
Wonderful. So, Suraj, we were discussing about people who are not engineers or not maybe working in the area of responsible AI, who may not be as much tech savvy. I'm sure you work with a lot of your vendors, etc., who may not be as good in technology usage. So, are you also training them? What are the proactive steps that you're taking to do all of these things?
Yeah. So from the outside, it may seem that tech savviness is one of the behaviors required. But for us, we find people with domain experience and domain expertise are what is more required. Like for example, I see Kolkata is a city of scholars is what I say. Then if a city like Kolkata and a city like Bangalore, the associates can work together, then we can create miracles actually. Because one example I will give you, to develop or decode one single protein model, it took more than 20 years. But with the advent of AI, within 2 years, more than 2,000 protein models have been decoded. And one of the contributors to that is a Dassault Systems product called BioVia Discovery Studio, which is used in drug discovery. It has been very useful during the time of COVID also to develop the vaccines. So when the people from the domain who have the domain expertise and those from the IT sector who have expertise in developing applications and creating customized applications for particular domains. So they come and they work hand in hand, then we can create these miracles. So yes, being tech savvy, being having the intent to continuous learn and develop new skills, that is required. But more than that, we personally feel that the domain expertise people should come forward and join hands with those people with IT skills.
So, thank you for that, Suraj. Praveen, because you are on the edge of innovation in cybersecurity and AI, and you are servicing a lot of big companies in India, I should name them, maybe you want to. How are you balancing this regulatory policy of AI that now we have ISO 42001, we have a NIST policy, you have a lot of EU customers you might be having where you have to comply with this EU AI Act and GDPR. Is it throttling your innovation, or how are you balancing your innovation with the great race that AI is in? Plus also you are embedding all the AI policies inside so that your innovation is intact and you are also responsibly building it for your customers.
Yeah, so I think so about this, we are using as of now AI wherever we can control it in a way so that it is not, it should be ethical. At the same time, it should be following all the data privacy rule that is there in terms of compliance of ISOs, GDPR, SOC, or NIST frameworks. Even in India, DPDP is coming. So we are following all these necessary compliance, which makes us actually, go deep dive into how we are using it and how we are actually integrating with our product. So that becomes very crucial for us. We have a whole team who is actually handling and understanding how it can be integrated, whether it is following all the necessary policies, whether it should not be breaching any kind of policy which could be the issue for later on. And that's why we are as of now following the necessary compliance, which could be the global compliance in terms of SOC 2, GDPR, NIST framework, ISO. So we are following these compliance and making sure that this is helping to solve the problem, but at the same time it is being used ethically and not breaching any kind of data privacy rules. Yes.
Thank you. That was very enlightening. Couple of last questions to both of you. For ethical AI use and unbiased AI to be used in your customers, what kind of data set governance are you using? So we didn't discuss this, I thought during the time of discussion it has come up. So what is that rule that you're applying when you do unethical, you check out the unethical part of it, you check out the trust AI that you're going to build for the customer. Are you following any specific thing? Maybe 1 or 2 lines on that.
So mostly our applications work with technical data that is generated by our clients, and we process that. But in conjunction to that, whenever there is user authentication that is sought, so we see to it that those associates, those employees who are working on that data, we allow only those innovations to take place that will not cause an apparent data breach, or the intellectual property is protected within the framework of where the data is being created. So when we have to be more careful when these inventions or these intellectual property generations are happening in the vicinity of academics, or it is happening by using freewares or those applications which are available freely over the internet. But otherwise, the system itself takes care of itself by, and then we have, as I said, a multi-factored authentication process when we use the applications over the cloud or on-premise. So that way, we can say that we can apply ethical AI when we are generating data and bringing the data to use ultimately.
Any final thoughts from you, Praveen, as to ethics and trust for AI?
I'm gonna copy a quote that I've heard from one of our customer and one of the industry veteran as well, that specific to cybersecurity, that it should be enabling business. It should be like airbags in a car. It should not be visible to everyone whenever it's needed. It should be there to protect you. And it goes, I think, the same with AI as well. It should be there. But at the same time, it should be ethical, so that it is not being, used by the wrong hands to do things which could be not only bad for the business, but eventually for the human being itself. So we should be using it really responsibly.
So while you embed all of this and you do your business for your clients and for yourself, uh, are you also scoring your AI models? Are you creating a trust-based score for your models, or that is still on a innovation level or thinking level?
So we have a pipeline of that. As of now, our team is working. So as of now, we are only using AI wherever it's needed and wherever we feel like it's very safe to use. But yes, that is already a part of our pipeline where we want to develop this.
So I think we spoke from social engineering to responsible AI frameworks and how ethical and trusted AI is being done for several organizations. Shombit, do we have some time for a questions, or is it time to wrap up? Okay, so he has allowed us 2 questions. So if anybody in the audience wants to ask questions to these eminent panelists, happy to take care of that. If no questions, then my jobs becomes easier. Oh, we have a question.
So I think with the advent of AI, while everybody is speaking about ethical AI and cybersecurity is protecting organizations from threats, what is there to protect users of AI like us from threats from companies who actually use our data? And there's a lot of concern about data privacy as well. There's a lot of data that actually gets used for various things. While it does kind of result in ultimate benefit for us, but where is the choice for us? In a lot of cases, we see either we give choice unconsciously, or we don't give a choice we don't give the consent at all. So, how is the industry thinking of kind of, there's a lot of movement in the European countries on data privacy, but India is still far behind, in that front. So, how do we intend to address that?
Okay, so I think who wants to take that? But I want to say that trust your true caller and don't answer those calls. But Praveen, both of you can answer that.
I could not heard all of it. If you could, repeat, I could not heard this.
The gentleman is asking that as users, how can you protect yourself? You may not know everything, what data to share and what not to share, but what could you do to prevent
Yes.
that getting misused, if that's okay?
Yeah, kind of.
So I think the most important thing is we should not be sharing any PII, which is personal identifying information, on the GenAI platforms. And the GenAI platforms or any kind of AI platforms you're using, you should know, or at least we should try to understand what kind of data they're holding. Everyone have their own policies, which is posted on their website. So the most important thing is you should not be sharing any kind of PII which could be used against you, or let's say which could share any information which can be misutilized by the organization, whosoever has built that AI model. So this is the most important thing according to me as an individual.
Okay. Be more aware. Suraj, anything from you?
Yeah, no, actually, Praveen had already sounded out that AI should not be looked as a threat or a competition, but as an enabler. As an extension to that, when we train our teams, what we say that we have an underlying platform which integrates your applications for project lifecycle management or manufacturing execution systems. Then we share only those data on these systems, like for example, ERP systems or IT admin softwares. So we share only those data which are approved and authenticated by the company personnel and do not share any personal data on them. So even the Gen AI, as we give more data, it uses a background data, it uses our data, collaborates that, and gives us some report. So when that report is fetched, when what I observe is when someone is presenting the data which has been generated by AI, the actual intelligence has been developed by the AI, and it is not that our intelligence has developed. So when we are presenting it to our teams or our stakeholders, then we intend that from the generative AI to the audience that whom we are presenting the data to, it is also our responsibility that we ourselves have improved our intelligence with that. If that is not there, then the purpose for using a generative AI is lost, is what I feel.
Thank you, thank you. So we still have jobs left, human in the loop, but if no more questions, then we will wrap this session up. There is a question at the end.
Hello, thank you for the wonderful insights that we have received. So I am actually from a training team. I deliver training, and since there were quite a few, the context of training had been raised, so it really gripped my attention more. I have a quick query around the question, around the section where you said about the behavioral training where bad behavior and the good behaviors have also been analyzed or something. So do we mean to say cognitive involvement has been made in those machine learning or deep learning subsets of generative AI?
Praveen,
Yeah,
reaching
so,
for that, yeah.
When I say we are analyzing the good behavior, so part of our framework includes where, for an example, let's say I'm an employee, I receive an email which I think is a suspicious email. I immediately report it through one of our solution to the security team, which is integrated in my system. As soon as I report it, I get a threat score of that email. And if that email is actually suspicious, based on the rating of the threat score of the email, I'm given a score. And how effectively and how quickly I'm reporting that email. That is one part of it. Another part of identifying good behavior is whenever I'm assigning any kind of training to the user, how quickly they are completing it and what are their score to that training. That also sums up. Based on that, we identify the behavior, and then accordingly we try to push that.
So no more, another raised hand, okay. So a mic to the gentleman there.
Hi, a very good evening to the august members of the dais. So my question is actually a twofold question. The first part of it is actually sort of an insight. So I belong to a company that deals with the OEM Vertiv, and Vertiv has been at the forefront of generative AI. We are one of the first people to provide thermal management systems for NVIDIA GPUs, which has facilitated AI in itself, because we have been able to dissipate the amount of heat that GPUs generate when they're using generative AI. We spoke about LLMs, and now slowly from generative also we are moving on to neural networks, where we have a kind of a consolidated version of LLMs coming in, which is a much smaller kind of a LLM, but it is being used for edge applications as well. So my question here is, with neural networks coming into the forefront, and we are talking about sustainability, how do we as India see us utilizing our resources, energy, water, etc., efficiently to be able to manage the next part of AI, which although might be very energy efficient, but it is also going to be very energy consuming. So how can we make sure that sustainability is looked at while we are also evolving technologies that keep demanding more and more energy as we go on into the years?
Okay, I'll have the experts answer that, but somebody sitting besides you manages one of the largest utilities in the country. So we were discussing that going forward, there will be a specific utility organizations to provide the power that is required, which will not be drawn from citizen services. Amitabh, sorry, I am taking your example, but I think we have to build better models, which are faster in understanding the insights that you generate out of all the work that you're doing with NVIDIA and the other folks that are doing. We have to reach inference faster and to store those inferences in those whatever neural nets you build or GANs that you build, but if we don't have those inferencing, we'll again have to do the tokenization system. We'll have to start from the beginning, which will again consume a lot of electricity and a lot of water to cool it down. So I think SLMs were coming in, and then they're somewhere in between right now, because the power of generating that inference and retaining that in their memory, I think that is where the next battle would be fought. Maybe NVIDIA or anybody in that area will help that grow, but I'll also ask the two eminent panelists to answer that.
No, my understanding of neural networks is that it is a more efficient LLM. Energy conservation or sustainability by using neural networks, I think currently we are at a stage where we could do some proof of concepts, but applying it on field is very difficult. What I call as model cities, like let's say Singapore. So these kind of studies are being done on field, in field over there actually. But applying it to a country like India, I think it is better to develop a digital twin of this on where to apply it, study that. We ourselves call it a virtual experience actually. So the digital twin that can be developed where you can apply certain stimuluses and know what are the responses. So those can be created first, we can study, and then we can think of how to apply it, where to apply it.
So another caveat to that, Microsoft, I don't know if anybody from Microsoft is here, is asking the US government to commission some of the decommissioned nuclear plants specifically for their use. I mean, that is one way that they're doing. They also have, some of these big techs are trying to build data centers under sea so that cooling is natural. So there are a lot of efforts which are going on, but we should use Gemini less. Chances of losing our jobs will also become lesser. But I mean, that's the joke part of it. But I think responsible use of all these platforms is very, very important. Otherwise, from code to generation of text and audio and video, where will our creativity be then? But anyway, thank you for that question. So Praveen, you want to speak something about that? It's good. Shomrit, hopefully you're done. Thank you, and a round of applause for these two very eminent panelists. Thank you so much.
Okay, before doing the honors, I'd like them to just hold back a bit. There's a small announcement. There was a lucky draw done by Acceleron Solutions in their stall. So they will announce the winners of that lucky draw. So over to you. Can you please come and announce? Can we have the screen, please?
Hello, good evening everyone. So we had a lucky draw at our Acceleron Solutions stall, and at this moment I have two cards. I have two winners name with me. So the first winner is Mr. Oyon Chakraborty from Calderis. So do we have Oyon Chakraborty with us? Yes. I would request our CEO from Acceleron Solutions to come and give the goodie to Mr. Oyon Chakraborty. Congratulations, Mr. Ayan. Okay, so now I have the second winner name, which is Mr. Partho Ghosh from Primetals Technologies. Do we have Mr. Partho? Yes, we have. I would request our practice head, Mr. Anirban De Sarkar, to come to the stage and give the goodie to Mr. Partho. Congratulations to Mr. Partho Ghosh. Thank you everyone for participating in Acceleron Solutions Lucky Draw. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadrita. They actually made it very interesting during the session as well, running a quiz and then this lucky draw in the booth that they have. Okay, I quickly call upon Mr. Partho Sengupta, co-chairperson of the IT committee and head of shared services ITC Limited and vice president ITC Infotech, and request her to do the honors for the panelists. Yeah, we can go chronologically to Mr. Praveen Pal Singh first. We have some cocktails to energize you. The claps can be a little brighter and louder. Mr. Dr. Indranil Mitra next. And then Mr. Praveen Pal Singh.